You're listening to the Important Joe Show podcast, a podcast where I talk about whatever the I feel like talking about. Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, with Fastlane coming up close this Sunday, I wanted to basically rant about all my concerns within the pay-per-view, including the pay-per-view itself and even the WWE Network. So I'm going to be talking about Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, all that good stuff. This whole thing with Stardust and Goldust, and just the writing and creativity, period. I have a lot of questions and concerns, and the direction of WWE, period, besides going PG, is just, I don't know what to think right now. So, first order of business, Roman Reigns. I mean, I don't want to say this guy is terrible, but out of the Shield, he's the one that's done the worst. He's digressed, in my opinion. When you look at the three, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, the only one that really got better was Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins was the best one out of the Shield, and he stayed really good. I still think he was the best one out of the three. But Roman Reigns was a very dominant force within the Shield. And once the Shield broke up, Dean Ambrose is the only one that got better. Seth Rollins stayed really good. And Roman Reigns just didn't get better. This character, and his mic skills are terrible. It's become a nuisance for me. I don't like seeing him being pushed this fast. I mean, I miss the days where it wasn't about pushes. It was just get into the story and just let the story carry out and be surprised. But if I have a voice, I'm going to use it. And I don't feel Roman Reigns is ready. I don't like the direction of his character. I feel like it's too close to John Cena. John Cena's, the franchise player now rather than just... Because, in my opinion, John Cena was always the Superman. Always did good, all that other stuff, like a Hulk Hogan. And I think they're pushing Roman Reigns to be this Superman guy, and you can't have two Supermans. I understand replacing John Cena, but then you have guys like Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins that you're trying to push as the future of the company, but why push Roman Reigns? I don't know. It's just really confusing. So to me, he'll be a part of the future, but I don't think he is the future. I mean, he's the common wrestler. He's big, he's a pretty boy and all that other stuff, and he fits the bill pretty perfectly. I mean, I see why he's considered to be one of the futures of the company, but I don't see that he's ready. Now, moving on to Daniel Bryan. Is he the future? Why can't he be the future? I don't think he fits the bill to be the future. So I think they're kind of stepping on him a bit with Roman Reigns, but still trying to do what pleases the fans. And I feel that Roman Reigns is in the way. So I don't know what they're going to do with Daniel Bryan to see how he progresses as to be what I think is the true future of WWE. While we're still on the subject of futures of WWE, Seth Rollins is in the question too. I mean, this guy is agile. He's a great wrestler. He's a great performer. He's a great entertainer. He fits what WWE is trying to represent. But they're kind of putting him in the shadows with this whole Mr. Money in the Bank thing. And he's not really... He's a main event player that's not in the main event. He's that of CM Punk. I see a lot of CM Punk and Seth Rollins. He's a really good wrestler, but just not getting the opportunities he should. And if he's going to, great for him. I can't wait to see it. But then we go on to the champion, Brock Lesnar. This guy, I've always liked Brock Lesnar. The fact that he beat The Undertaker honestly made me like him more. The fact that The Undertaker respected him enough to want to lose to Brock Lesnar out of everybody builds question like why. And then you go back and watch that of the Hell in a Cell match that they had in 2002 at No Mercy, and you see why, like, Brock Lesnar putting one over on The Undertaker, it made sense, and I really like Brock Lesnar, even more now. I mean, he's always been with Paul Heyman, which Paul Heyman is one of my favorite managers, but Brock Lesnar represents the title very well. His consistency on the show is what bothers me. If this guy is going to go on to WrestleMania, WWE needs to pay this guy what he wants to be paid, and then some. Get him on the show consistently, because it'll bring in ratings. More people want to see Brock Lesnar. But that's just me. Big fan of Brock Lesnar. I really hope he doesn't join the UFC and stays with WWE, so I can see more of him. And at WrestleMania, I expect him to win the belt. If he doesn't win the belt, it's foolish. Kind of defeats the whole purpose of him beating The Undertaker, him beating John Cena, him beating CM Punk, Triple H. Like, you put this guy up there on this pedestal and knock him down with a Superman punch and a spear. I mean, that's not really putting the kids over. That's just, to me, crapping on Brock Lesnar's career as of now, which would then, in my opinion, crap on The Undertaker's career, who's built this whole 21-0 legacy to become 21-1 to Brock Lesnar losing to whomever. I don't feel anybody's ready to take on Brock Lesnar because of his caliber that they set him up to be. But I just don't see Roman Reigns taking it from him, or Daniel Bryan. I don't think anybody's ready. I mean, but that's if Brock Lesnar stays. If Brock Lesnar stays, he better have the belt. So, moving on to WrestleMania, since we're on the subject, I just talked about The Undertaker. Bray Wyatt has been, which is right now one of my favorite wrestlers, if not my favorite wrestlers of this era after CM Punk left. Bray Wyatt has been dropping the greatest promos out of anybody. His mic skills are phenomenal. His wrestling is phenomenal. But it's in question, will The Undertaker fight at this coming WrestleMania due to his health conditions, whatever it may be. But will Bray Wyatt take on The Undertaker? Are these promos to The Undertaker, or are they setting it up to play it safe? I feel like they are. They're setting up his promos to play it safe. If it's not towards The Undertaker, which it's hard to believe right now with the coffin situations and the things that he's saying, if it's not Undertaker, I feel it's going to be Kane. They're setting up for a Kane feud if the Undertaker thing falls through, which then gets me into creativity. The writing creativity of WWE has really baffled me. Is it about requests, or is it about the creativiness? I used to watch WWE for the stories. It was different than just fighting. It's basically a drama for men. And when you take out of the story, it's just two guys in the room with tights on wrestling it out. I mean, it doesn't become that interesting. And nowadays, you look at it and you know what's going to happen because that's what the fans want. I feel, stop listening to the fans. Do what surprises them, but doesn't make them leave. Something that makes them want to stay and watch all week, every week. Get them interested in the WWE Network, because those who don't have it are the ones that aren't interested in it, obviously, or just can't afford it. Me personally got it, and I love it, because although I'm a diehard fan, there's a lot I haven't watched. That's why they have the original content, so they go and watch, Legends House or whatever, but then they get caught up in it, and then what? Then you gotta wait however long till they put up a new one. I don't know. The WWE Network, they should have eased into it more. Right now, I think it's pretty successful, and I love it because the pay-per-views aren't what they used to be. And I think pay-per-views now are just publicized shows. Just a fancier Raw with different sponsors and a bigger Titantron or bigger setup for the Titantron. It's not really... The pay-per-view doesn't really interest me that much. It's finally where they take the story out of the wrestling and let the wrestlers actually wrestle. Now, this writing and creativity, listening to the fans, gets me into Stardust versus Goldust. They're breaking them apart, which I see them going against each other at WrestleMania, which I hope is the direction that they're going. But I want to know why they didn't do this 2 years ago when Goldust was petitioning and Cody Rhodes had nothing going on. It was the perfect time when everybody wanted it. But you know what? I see it. 2 years later, now, they've set them up as a tag team. turn on each other. I think it's going to be good for business. But that's it for my WWE rant. Catch Fastlane this Sunday. I know I will. I'm Joe, the Important Joe. See you next week.